Venezianico is an Italian micro brand, and I reviewed a couple of their watches in the past. Both of them were divers. Now we're going to review their newest dress watch, and I actually think this is the most interesting watch out of the bunch. As always, I'll point out all the positives and the negatives as I find them, but first, let's talk about the case and the dimensions. The watch is made out of 316L stainless steel. It features a 40mm case diameter. It's about 46.7mm from one lug to another. The case height is only 11.5mm and the lug opening is 20mm. This watch features both satin and high polish finishes. The bezel is executed with a high polish finish and the finishes are actually pretty fantastic. It's a nice and even finish all around. And the brushing is also executed well. It has nice sharp transitions between high polish on top of the lugs and the satin finish on the sides of the case. And looking at it in a profile, you can really appreciate the differences between the finishes. Out of the watches that are reviewed from this micro brand, all of them feature pretty nice finishes. There is a crown at the 3 o'clock position housed within these two crown guards. It's a simple push-pull style crown signed with the Venezianico logo. This is sort of a dress watch slash casual watch, so it doesn't need much water resistance. This one here features 50 meters. If you look at the case back, it features this really nice engraving of Italian architecture. And of course, it's always perfectly aligned because Venezianico insists on fixing their case backs with screws for that perfect alignment each time. Even on their diver watches, the case backs are held together with these 6 screws. The crystal featured on this watch is a sapphire crystal with AR coating. It's pretty much a flat piece of sapphire with rounded off edges, and the way it sort of blends into the case is executed really well. As far as the dial of this watch goes, that's clearly the star of the show. I really love the color combination here. It has this sort of rich green color, kind of reminds me of Aurora Borealis. Actually, in Canada, we have recently had the Northern Lights. I don't know if you had Northern Lights where you're from, but this coloring really looks a lot like that. I like the gradient tone on it. I like the sunburst effect. All of that elevates sort of the look of this watch, the feel of the watch. It makes the watch seem more expensive. The price of this one is 560 euro. And I think for that price, it is pretty fair in terms of the design, the finishes, and the overall feel. By now, you have probably noticed that it features a regulator complication, essentially saying that you read the time from two different sources. So there's a subdial closer to the 10 o'clock position. That's the 24-hour indicator. So this one reads 24 hours instead of 12 hours. And there is a minutes hand in the center with an applied minutes running track all around the dial. So that's how you read the minutes. And of course, there is no seconds hand. The logo is closer to the 4 o'clock position. And overall, the layout of this dial is very unconventional, but it actually works really well. And for whatever reason, I got a lot of compliments wearing this watch. A lot of people were asking me, what is it? The colors really stand out. Now, Venezianico has just announced that there are 2 more colors coming to the collection, and both of those colors look really good, but I think I still prefer this green out of the bunch. The set of hands featured on this watch is very nice and elegant. It fits the design aesthetic of this watch really well. There is no lume on this watch since it's sort of a dress watch, and I do have only one sort of complaint about the dial and this watch, and is the fact that certain times of the day are sort of hard to read, especially when you have the minutes hand blocking the sub-dial by the 10 o'clock position. Sometimes the two hands align in a way that it's kind of hard to tell what time it is. You do have to look closer and think about it for a few seconds. It's not one of these watches that you can read on a first glance. You do have to kind of think about it a little bit more. It took me a few days to get used to that 24-hour readout as opposed to the standard 12-hour readout, and also the blocking of the hands adds another element of complication. It is absolutely not a deal breaker, but it's just something you should be aware of if you do end up buying one of these watches. This one comes on the leather strap, and the leather strap is excellent. It's a handmade Italian leather strap, and it's of a pretty good quality. It's nice and thick, and it fits the aesthetic of the watch. First of all, the coloring of the strap matches the color on the dial, which is important. It sort of looks like it belongs. The other little element that I really like is the fact that this strap features curved lugs. So once again, there's a little bit more intention behind the strap. It's not just taking a random strap from one of their other watches and slapping it on this one. You can see that they have gone the extra mile. In terms of the hardware, it's a simple tank buckle with their logo and a couple of loops to hide the excess strap. As far as the fit on the wrist, it looks and wears fantastic. I actually really enjoyed my time wearing this watch. I have about a 7¼ inch wrist, and I think the size is great. It's not too bad in terms of lug to lug distance, just over 46 millimeters. So even if you have a smaller wrist, something around 6¼ inch and up, I think you will have no problem wearing this watch. It is also pretty thin, 11.5 millimeters. That's what you would expect from a dress watch. So you should have no problem sliding this one under the cuff of any shirt. There aren't any really awkward angles or anything like that. The strap out of the box was a little bit stiff, but after wearing it for a day or two, it kind of conforms to your wrist. So it's an absolutely comfortable timepiece. As far as the movement goes, this one features the automatic caliber Seiko NH39A. It's a variation of an NH Seiko movement. It has 24 joules. It's not a high beat movement. It beats at 21,600 vibrations per hour. And this one has 41 hours of power reserve. Now, as far as the beat rate, that doesn't really matter since there is no seconds hand. So that's not really going to affect it. And I think for a watch around $550, it is a reasonable movement because of the complication. It's not just a standard diver with the Seiko NH movement. There is some modification, and sort of that's the movement that fit the criteria for this watch. This one is running pretty accurately. It is kind of hard to test exactly because, of course, there is no seconds hand, but in general, these movements are very reliable and fairly easy to service. Overall, I think Venezianico did a fantastic job with this watch. I really like the looks of it. I think it feels and looks more expensive than it actually is. $550 US is not too bad for a watch like this. It's available for pre-orders and you will be able to get yours at the end of November. So if you're looking for a dress watch and you want something a little bit more unique, a little bit more out of the box, and if you like the looks of this one, and if you're okay with the sort of downsize, the quote-unquote negatives that I mentioned, I don't think you'll be disappointed with this one. I appreciate you watching this video all the way until the end. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more videos like this in the future, and leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about this watch. Are you picking it up? Are you letting this one go? Leave your thoughts below. I always enjoy reading them. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
What you got there? What you got? It's a big ass stick.